Welcome to the show. My name is James Nielsen Watt, and in this show, we interview interesting, inspiring, and successful people so you can learn the secrets to success and can play the game of life, business, health, and happiness better. And the philosophy we take here is if I'm leveling up my game, you get to level up yours as well. So get ready to listen to some inspiring people who have figured out how to have success in all areas of life: health, happiness, wealth, business. We're going to be interviewing them in this show so that you can learn the secrets to success that they share with practical advice that you can take and use today. So if you enjoy the show, please subscribe, please leave us a review, and please share it with your friends, because if I can help you and you can help others, then we can help more people together and we can all level up our game together. Hey everyone, in this episode, I'm going to do something a little different. What I've gone and done is put together some of the best clips from our top episodes over the last year. So the first episode is how to use systems, outsourcing, and automations to triple new client and revenue growth in your healthcare practice with Ravi. Abuvala. The second is discover the secrets to creating content that attracts and converts new clients with Aaron Day. And number 3 is grow your healthcare business using Facebook groups and authenticity with Dr. Maggie Yu. These are some of my favorite episodes, the most interesting information that we went through that people said, you know what, this is actually something that I can go and do. Most of our listeners are practice owners. They're people like you who are trying to grow their businesses, trying to help more clients, make more money in the process. And these are the most actionable interviews that I got the best responses from over the last few months since launching. So what I want you to do is go and check those out. In the show notes, we will have links to the full episodes so you can go and listen to them in their entirety. But otherwise, I hope that you enjoy this little different episode, and speak soon. A lot of people are talking about Facebook groups, building communities. Do you do a lot of that work with your clients, and where do you see the applications?
Yeah, so that was where I was going to go next. So I wanted to give you guys like the easiest thing first, right? Because Facebook groups and YouTube, I specialize in, and I help people build huge communities online, and I really love them. But the first thing I gave you, I just want to give everyone that's listening to this so far and lending your ears just a no BS way to go make more money. And you can't say, oh, it was too hard, Ravi, right? You can do that in 10 minutes. But as far as the Facebook group is concerned, I absolutely love Facebook groups. They allow you, number one, you're instantly the authority inside of that group. If you just by being the group owner, you're just instantly the authority inside of that group. And number two, it just gives you a really incredible place for you to pull content ideas from, for you to pull new service ideas from, for you to pull new product offer ideas from, because people are saying in there, asking questions that you can potentially answer. And then number 3, it's an opportunity to have a community where you can continuously stay top of mind of people for free. So every Monday you go in there and you just do a Facebook Live, or once a week or once every other week, whatever it is. And every time you do that, it's you remind people of who you are, what you're doing. Even if you're not saying, hey, come walk into my practice, you're just saying, hey, it's beautiful weather outside. Well, the way the human mind works, they go, oh, who's that? That's that person. He runs this practice. Oh, my back still hurts. Oh, I need to get my teeth whitened. Let me go in and go do that. Because it's called the availability bias, essentially. The more you see somebody, or the more you see something, the more important you think that person is, which is why attention is really everything. I have a YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Instagram, Facebook, but I have a team of 30 people, and that's what we specialize in. So I don't recommend everybody do it. But I think taking what we said in step 1, which is emailing your past list and try to get them to come in. The other step 2, could be taking that same list and creating a Facebook group and say, hey, I'm starting a Facebook group. For the first people that join, we're going to give this free coupon to come in and do this one thing, because you want to give them a real reason to join the Facebook group, right? So give them something really good. And just send an email blast out to your list and say, hey, we're starting the Facebook group. And then they come into the Facebook group, and there you have it. And then Facebook works organically to promote your group to similar people that are in it. So you don't even have to do any work. Facebook's going to do the work for you. All you have to do is just make sure you're maintaining some kind of community in there. And I think the best groups in the world, I'm friends with. I just went to a mastermind on Saturday. A gentleman has a group of 80,000 people inside of it. He makes multi-7 figures a year from it. And he is barely inside of it. He just has created a community for people to have discussions back and forth with each other. And he barely does anything inside of it. And that's, I think, the kind of community you guys should be looking to create for your group.
I think that people are looking for leadership. They're looking for someone that they can follow and they can give over control. And especially as a health professional, people can Google how to eat healthy, how to exercise, how to look after their spines. And because information's everywhere, that's what YouTube and Google are for. But ultimately they still need us for implementation and coaching and guidance. It's the reason why you pay a personal trainer rather than just YouTubing how to do exercises. Yes, there's going to be some expertise, but it's really about accountability and follow through. I know that if I have appointments that I'm going to turn up to them and I'm going to do it, and he's going to coach me or she's going to coach me. And so as a health professional, we have to realize that people are looking for ways of giving up control to us when they feel like they can trust that we have a process in place that's going to get them the outcomes they want, because they're sick of trying to find the answer and they just want someone that they can trust to give them the answer. So if you have content out there, if you're emailing them, if you have a Facebook group especially, you're able to build that know, like, and trust factor so that people can, like you said, what did you call it? Bias of availability, I think you said.
Availability bias, yeah.
Yeah, availability bias, right? So it's like, James is always there. I can see him. I now have an issue. I'm going to go and see him because I know I can trust him. I know he's got a process, and so I can give up control. And when everything's dialed in, I learned it from a mentor of mine, Taki Moore. He talks about signposting. When everything's signposted and it's obvious, it's very easy to go from email list to group to content or offer to appointment in your clinic to subsequent appointments and then results, because there's a process in place, and that feeds both into your front end, which is what we're talking about with lead generation, things like that, and then your back end, which is actually the service delivery. So I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think as well, another aspect of it that people are kind of forgetting, and I've said it multiple times here, but number one, you're also helping people who want to. There are a certain percentage of people that you guys are servicing right now that want to do more with you, and you guys aren't giving them an opportunity to go more with you.
Yeah.
Right. So they want to work. They like the way you do business. They like trusting you. What they're doing, what you're saying, and it's working. But then they want to ask you more questions in other areas, and you guys don't give them the opportunity to do that. And so, like you had just said again a second ago, the signposting area of it, it's like, hey, join us online where we have discussions about this, where we can talk a little bit more, where I do a one live Q&A a week, whatever it is, where people are able to come in there, and you just build such credibility. And I think that in 2020, 2021, 2022, the next decade and beyond, I think attention is the largest currency that you can have out there. And if you are able to just build, right, the Facebook group is like a real estate or anything else. It's an asset that you need to start, right? Your email list is an asset that you need to start, and you can just slowly over time, you build it. And yeah, it's going to take a little bit to really see fruit, but in 3 to 5 years, you're going to be happy that you started back then versus starting, today or whatever it is. So I could not agree more. And you have to start seeing as these things. And let's say you pivot out of the, one-on-one more brick and mortar service-based business of a healthcare provider, and you move into maybe a digital product or online product or servicing people online because of the scalability of it. Or guess what? You have an incredible group of warm prospects that you can start this new program at that already know, like, and trust you, like you just said a second ago, and are essentially ready to make the next step forward with you, versus if you didn't have that, you'd be essentially starting at square one.
100%.
When someone comes to you, you're an authority. And as an authority, you are able to tell them what to do in a systematic way. They're going to listen to you. But I would suggest, make sure that you're not doing this, is that the selling never stops. Once someone has bought a course from you, once someone has bought the coaching from you, you still have to get them to do what is necessary
100%.
to make those changes, because now that they're like, you don't want them to just tick that off in their head and say, look, bought the course, done. Now in 8 weeks, I'm going to lose weight. Yeah. I hope that Aaron can get this done for me. And you go, nah, you've got to put in the work. And so the selling and the process and that stuff is even more important than the course, or more important than the content anyway, because if you can't get them to do it, it doesn't matter how good your content is.
Yeah.
If it's too complicated, if it doesn't make sense, or if they feel like it's going to take too much time, then there's nothing in it for them. You want to be that shortcut between A and B. And so that shortcut requires your knowledge and your authority to get them to do it. Does that make? I hope
100%. Step 1, attract people. Step 2, convert them. Step 3, get compliance and retain them. You can be the world's leading expert in something super specific and be amazing. But if you can't get people to do it, then they're never going to get results. No one's going to know you exist, and you're going to be broke and unhappy and not helping anybody. Whereas there's plenty of authorities in the space, Tony Robbins, Oprah, Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, all of that, right? They're not necessarily the best, you could argue in some cases, but they are like technically the best, right? But they have the authority and they get people to follow through, so they get more collective results than anybody else does. And so it's really about implementation and accountability and getting that follow through that's more important than the polish. And so many people, and the example of this is making logos and websites. I get so frustrated.
Yep.
It's like, no one cares. Like, you're not Apple. You know what I mean? No one cares what my logo is an example. I just went into Google Docs, wrote my name, and then screenshotted it in a font that I liked. I'm like, cool, it's my logo. Boom.
Yep.
Because no one knows, no one's looking at it, doesn't matter. I just had to have something on there because otherwise it looked weird. And so it's about just taking action yourself as the business owner, and just doing stuff. And then with your clients, it's the same thing. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to give them what they need to facilitate and get the results. And then your job is to coach and counsel them to take the actions that get them results. Because the majority of the clients that we work with, especially in a nutrition sense, right? But just in general, half the reason why they have the problems in the first place is because they don't follow through with the right things that they need to be doing, that they could have just Googled. They could Google our stuff. They don't need you and your knowledge. They could have Googled it. But the reason they need it is because then they'll take action on it. Because it's not the knowledge, it's the insight and guidance and the facilitation that's key, not how polished the video looks. Or like, just record it with your phone. You know what I mean? You don't need to have it fancy. It could be shaky. As long as the audio is all right and the information is pretty good and you get them to take action on it, then they'll get results. 100%. Who have been 3 people that have been influential on you in this journey?
Oh, good question. Tim Ferriss was a big influence on me when I started, because I think it was the interview between him and Dr. Dominique D'Agostino that I was very interested in the ketogenic diet, specifically with like endurance training. And so I, as a cyclist, I was going down that path and made all of the mistakes that my clients make now. And I did that. So Tim Ferriss was really important. I tend to, a lot of my mentors, I guess, are from books or from online. I did hire a business coach at one point, and they were great. But I definitely think that I may have learnt more from books that I didn't implement properly than I did from the coaching in that respect. But let me try and think.
Is there anyone you're reading or following right now?
So I just read a really good book, and I think it's called Never Binge Again. It's by Dr. Glenn Livingston. And his process is fantastic in the way that, so he's a psychologist, but he gets into the minds of, how to stop binge eating. But that same framework could apply to someone who has a problem with online shopping, or who has a problem with alcohol, or, drugs, those types of things. And so that's been interesting to take, the inspiration from his framework and apply that to my clients. So that's been something that's been really awesome as well. There's another book that I'm reading at the moment, which is fantastic, and I'll bring it up right now. It is called Never Split the Difference. And it is by Chris Voss, who is an ex-FBI agent.
Yeah.
And it's all about negotiation. Because as a someone who coaches other people, there's a certain amount of negotiation, especially in the sales process, that you have to go through, and you have to understand that will make your life easier. and those are the people that come to mind for me at the moment. But that tends to change as I cycle through different influences and resources. And I don't have I've got Marianne Voss is a female cyclist, and I think that the work she's done in cycling has been absolutely amazing. I think those people are probably my heroes, I guess.
I think that, and what you said about business coaches, I think there's a lot of coaching that is not implementation, like execution focused. It's, how are you feeling today? What are you working on? Let's make more content. Let's do this, versus having an actual plan in place to say, just do these things. Because from my perspective, there's no point in reinventing the wheel. If I want to build a successful practice, I'm going to find someone who's done it, replicate it with others, and they've got a process, and I'm just going to follow the process, because it's all. And I think that people sometimes forget that, hey, you don't have to be massively different. Like, it's okay to not be the new Facebook or the new Uber. It's okay to be number 2, number 3, or at least just modeling it, because it's, unless you're trying to completely change everything, even then, like it's like a pyramid. Fundamentally, there's a right way to run a business and there's not a right way. And then you just get progressively higher up until your pyramid is bigger than others and sticks out of the clouds. And so people recognize it as being unique. But fundamentally, there's processes that work and processes that don't. And it's best to just find the process that has worked and follow it, and then customize it as you go to fit with what you're trying to achieve. And a lot of people miss that. They try and be completely unique. And coaches are notorious for just repurposing other people's stuff, or just coaching people and not giving them step-by-step things to do. And I've always found that with my clients, is like, here's the process, just go and do that first. And then when you want to go to the next level, then let's customize and strategize, but not at the start, because you're overthinking it. It's like, I want to be a world-class sprinter. So I'm going to buy the pants, I'm going to buy the shoes, I'm going to look up all these videos online. It's like, no, dude, just go to the gym. Just start working out, start training. Like, you're far away from being the best in the world. So you just need to fundamentally just start running a bit, because you don't run. So let's talk about, in a practical sense, how do we then take that group? Obviously, we know how to grow it. We're engaging it. We're maybe running ads, maybe promoting it to our email list, things like that. But we're focusing on providing actual value that people want to inherently share themselves, which is, you probably get a lot of people referred to your group. How do we then take that group and then get clients out of it? So what's the back end on this?
Back end on it is that I think it's really important about connection marketing is you got to use humans to connect. And so unlike other people who don't invest in a team that actually actively chats with people in the Facebook group, we actually have full-time administrative and chatting staff on it to man our Facebook group. And what happens is that we actually will chat with people who are raising their hand and wants to be chatted with. So we literally provide opportunities where we're asking people questions, polls, opportunities to say, tell me where you need the biggest help. And the thing is, if you look at our unit section, we have over 120 videos at this point. So what happens is when we actually welcome people into our Facebook group, we actively ask them, tell us what's going on. Where do you need help with? And when they do, we actually answer. We have staff will to say, you got to watch this unit. You got to watch this video. And some of them will be like, I want some help right now. We chat them directly. So we actually provide value the moment they come into the Facebook group. We ask them where they need the help, and we give them the help, because our resource is so rich in the Facebook group that we have, let's say someone says, I have Hashimoto's and rheumatoid arthritis. Great. You want to see this video from Christina where she has Hashimoto's and rheumatoid arthritis and was able to turn it around in 2 months. Here's the link. Now, when we do that, it's like not only is that person benefiting from seeing that link, other people underneath it will see it and be like, I have that problem. I could use that link. And I'll even have alumni will be like, that was me 2 years ago. Thank God that I found this program or whatever. So that's the level of engagement. The moment people come into the Facebook group, you're nurturing and connecting with them. And the person who's putting the post in there to say, hey, watch this video, they're also messaging the person and saying, I tagged you in the Facebook group on this video. Let me know if you have any questions already. So there's you give them something, and then you offer yourself to be a resource for them, and they will respond. Not everybody does, but people who really do want the help, they'll raise their hand, and it's typically about 10%. I look at it, and so you can do 10 things with 10 people, but one out of those 10 people will want actual help now, or they want to talk to you. They'll continue with that chat. So then we have people actively chatting with people to then say, hey, here's, and people ask questions. How much does your services cost? How much how does this program look like? That program look like? And we have resources for our chatters to actually respond to these questions that will lead them to book an appointment if they want to. It's just really being connected and providing resources and being helpful.
So you're saying that because obviously when someone joins your group, you can ask them questions, and then the series of questions that you got set up based on the answers that people give to those questions, you will then take their name and tag them in the specific unit training with a little message. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, there's various ways you can do that. We don't do that. We don't just randomly tag them. Let's say you have, 100 people joining the group. We're not going to go and tag 100 people randomly on videos. But one of the questions we do ask in the beginning is, would you like my help in turning around your autoimmune disease now? And if they say yes, we do, they basically want us to actually message them. We will message them directly just from approving them in the group. But once we also do welcomes, and when we welcome people into the group, we also ask the question, tell us what autoimmune symptoms you want to turn around in the next 90 days in the comments below. Because not you welcome 50 people twice a day. Out of those 50 people, I mean, you may have only 5-10 people that really do want to actively get some help. So we give opportunities for people to raise their hand. And only when they raise their hand and say, yes, I want your help right now, or yes, I'm going to give you the list of my problems and 3 symptoms, then we respond and we give them a resource because they want a gift, they want help. So we do it that way. So we don't have just 20 staff members sitting here messaging 100 people every single day. That's unnecessary, and not all of those people really do want the help either. So it's a way to actually very quickly help sift through who really actually wants the connection and the resources.
Yeah. So I liken it to, you're hosting a party, as you said, you've got the doorway in and people are queuing up to come in, and you're asking some questions to find out more about them to see if they're ready right now or whether they're just kind of coming in to mingle in the party. And then you've got people ushering them throughout, starting conversations, connecting with them. There's you jumping on stage sometimes, doing a talk. There's resources available. You're welcoming people to the party, saying, hey, these are all the new people to the party. And all you're doing is engaging and stimulating conversation that can be outsourced to assistants, virtual assistants, people in your team to manage some of it. And then you're sort of the central star of the show. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Everything shared will be in the description of the episode, so you can go and grab that. Now, if you enjoyed the show and you want to listen to more, please subscribe, because every week we're releasing new episodes with inspiring people, successful people, so you can level up your game. So subscribe and also leave us a review. We'd love to hear feedback about the show and your thoughts and opinions there as well. Now, if you want to have more success, whether it's in your life, whether it's in your business, we run live trainings every single week where you can get access to me to coach you through everything from health, wealth, success, business. We're doing topics on all things that you need to live a better, more inspired and successful life. Live trainings every single week. Just visit jamesnielsenwatt.com/live and you can get access to that. Now, there's also a ton of resources that you get for just listening to the show. All of that will be in the description. So if you are watching this on YouTube, check the description. If you're listening to this episode, check the description. We've got a load of resources there for you to have more success in your life, whether it's relationships, investing, or in business. I'll see you on the next episode. And as always, subscribe, leave a review, and tell your friends, because there's somebody else that needs to be hearing this, and maybe you're their opportunity to help them level up their game.